Hello and welcome to the show. I'm Ryan Gomez.
I am John Kapora. Hi.
And here are your official Shadows over Innistrad preview cards for Wednesday, March 23rd.
They are previews. First card up is the Gitrog Monster. Yeah.
Death Touch seems not super useful at this size.
Sure. I mean, look, that's what they said about Grave Titan, and they were right.
All right, well, the rest of the text seems kind of like it's designed for things like Dredge or Crucible of Worlds would fit great here, as if those types of decks need any more help.
Or more expensive help.
I don't know. I'm just happy to drop a 6/6 for 5, to be honest.
The art on this card is probably the best part of it, even though the card itself is pretty good too. So I'm going to tell a story real quick here because it's great. So my roommate, back when Born of the Gods was kind of in preview season, he pre-ordered 20 copies of Courser of Kruphix.
Okay.
He pre-ordered them super cheap, and then they went up in price, obviously, because it was a house in Standard, and then he sold them all.
And you're telling me that story because...
Well, okay, so it turns out my roommate read Courser of Kruphix wrong. The way he read it, he thought you could play more than one land per turn. He thought it was kind of like a fast bond situation. So he thought, obviously, the card was amazing. Turns out without the fast bond ability, it's only just great, and he just won the lottery anyway.
All right, so what does that have to do with our big frog guy?
Okay, so the reason I'm telling this story here is because this seems like the kind of card that he would just read incorrectly, pre-order 20 of, and then just win the lottery anyway.
Okay, sure. Next card up, Prized Amalgam.
Well, I know it's not a hill giant, but what do you think, Ryan?
Well, it clearly goes in a self-mill kind of dedicated reanimator deck full of zombies alongside Risen Executioner. Once you get both of those out of your deck, you can just keep recasting them together, and you get 8 power across the 2 bodies for just 5 mana. That's pretty good.
That is technically true. Yeah. Next card, Scourge Wolf.
So I'm really curious to see how hard it is for red to enable Delirium, especially if it's like a mono red deck, right? It's only red. How are you going to do that? I guess this guy is best buds with Sin Prodder, though.
That is true. There's definitely a chance that Sin Prodder is way better than I gave it credit for initially, because we don't know how important Delirium is going to be in Standard decks. It could be awesome. It could just make your graveyard another important resource, which means that them milling a card with Sin Prodder could have an actual cost, as opposed to just, well, you just mill them every time so they don't draw a card.
Yep.
Yeah, seems pretty good.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Collected Company is still going to be one of the most powerful cards in Standard.
Yes, it will.
So every 1, 2, and 3 drop is going to be worth a closer look just because Collected Company is so good.
Yes, word up.
Yeah.
Last card of the day is Howl Pack Resurgence.
So this is another good follow-up to Scourge Wolf because he'll get the bonus here, or it's a nice build around me uncommon for limited. If you see it going around the table, you can get some cards that kind of fit the theme.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Full Moon's Rise in that regard, but I mean, this card is just way better than Full Moon's Rise.
Sure. How much is the flash going to be a factor on this one? I'm guessing not very. I mean, the selective Anthem alone will be welcome in a red-green build. You know, you got Arlen Cord, the new Planeswalker, making a token. I see a lot of natural synergy there, but when am I using the flash?
So I think the flash is actually kind of huge. With werewolves in old Innistrad, there was a lot of kind of importance. It added a lot of value to instants because sometimes your opponent's going to play a very good werewolf, and then on the following turn they're going to look to flip that werewolf into its night side because the night side's usually more powerful. So they will spend a turn doing nothing, leaning really hard on the presence of that flip side werewolf. So if you have an instant to kind of throw them off that plan, that's huge.
Gotcha.
Also, it's just a quasi-combat trick, you know? Yeah, when it's good, it's going to be like All Moon's Rise, and where if it's good and limited, it's going to be an absolute blowout. And if it's bad, you're just not going to play it.
I like it. All right, well, you can order all of these blowouts or other pre-order cards right now on TCGplayer.com. We're going to keep bringing you all the previews for Shadows over Innistrad the next couple of days here. We are loving this set so far.
It's great.
It's great. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Goodbye, Internet.